Hey everyone, I hope all of you had an amazing day and welcome to Kayan Al-Bashar. So today it's going to be a little bit more of a plant-filled episode and a magical-filled episode. First off, just quick to get this out of the gate. It's a magical episode in two ways. One, because of what I'm going to build, or also you could say a mystical episode, but mostly magical because when I record the after video views that I've put on the videos lately, I always make sure that my recording software isn't recording my cursor. But the inevitable happened, I forgot to put that thing on again. So for this entire video, it didn't record the cursor. So things will just fly into the habitat by magic. Well, the cursor was still there for me, but it's not going to be there for you guys. But on the other side, it's also a magical/mystical episode today because, as I said, of what we are going to build, and Dark is going to be really interested in that because his favorite tree is heavily in today's episode. Yeah, I have actually never asked how first of all to pronounce Dark, but I'm just going to say Dark just because it's easy. And I mean, I already have problems with cigarette. I don't think I should make it myself harder. But yeah, let's just say Dark was first supposed to be an okapi. Now he's either a flamingo or a lemur because of reasons, or actually mistakes, but now I'm just going to say happy little accidents. So yeah, I also just always saw Dark somehow as more of a, I don't know, actually lemur or flamingo. Bit of both actually. Yeah, so basically just the entire thing of why Dark is probably interested in today's episode can be ground up into don't say you hate something. Because then inevitably I will just enjoy placing it more and more. And then I will make sure you're connected to whatever you hate. Don't try to use this to your advantage and say like, oh, I hate this if you actually love it, because I might actually see through that. Like, I'm a squirrel and I sometimes have the memory of a goldfish, but I can sometimes see through that. So yeah. Anyway, so a lot of the animals are boxed up because whenever you start building in the habitats, probably mostly because I place things on top of them, so then they just got boxed up. But also, I'm very happy that the footage that you see today was mostly shot, of course, before you see it, or at least before the upload day. But luckily the last finishing touches were done on upload day, or at least so on Wednesday, and luckily just before that the patch came out, so now there is the ability to put off the necessity for electricity and water in Sandbox, and I'm so happy with that because I wasn't looking forward to basically hiding all of those generators and water cleaner thingies. But yeah, that's just a little side note. So I'm probably going to delete all of those because I basically filled the entire ziggurat with generators and water cleaning thingies. Because, otherwise I would just get, not brown water, but this weird other water. And I need to get some lighting into this habitat, which we are also going to do somewhat in today's video. But yeah, it's mostly just plants. A lot of plants, and then the next episode is going to be all plants. Actually, the next episode might be a little bit shorter, just because, it's a lot of plants. Maybe I will start another thing in the next episode, but then it's like a weird cliffhanger episode, which I don't really like. So yeah, probably the next episode might be a little bit shorter. And this is, coming from me who said, oh, this habitat might take another 3 episodes. Well, let's just say it takes a lot longer to build a building than to build all these plants. And yes, I have gone insane with them over the course of building this habitat. Because first, I just started off with those like, how are they called? Let's just call them those ground leafy bushes. And then I started adding those candelabra trees, or now I'm trying to roll the R on everything, but those trees that I stick into the ground to make them look like tall grass. Now I'm also using the elephant grass, which actually was meant for that, or at least not meant in the way that I use it, but it is actual grass. So now the ground layer, or the ground covering tier of all the plants, is basically made out of those three things. So yeah, I'm probably wouldn't recommend if you want to do this and you have a not as high NPC as me, like maybe skip one of those plants, but I'm just going nuts with it now. And yeah, basically deleting all of those ruined pieces just because they added a lot to the piece count. And actually I haven't had as much of like a dip in frame rate because of all the plants and all the pieces that I've used in this habitat. I went from, whilst recording, from 60 to 58. So that's 2 frames difference, and most of the time it's still 60, it's just sometimes it dips to 58. So it's actually a very stable zoo still. I'm still extremely happy that I can turn off the necessity for electricity and such. Also makes it probably easier for the guests. I mean, this is the first time that I actually think about the guests, because I don't care about the guests. For me, Plant Zoo is more of like, not completely a city builder, but yeah, I don't approach it as a zoo. Just like building weird habitats with weirder animals. I mean, I've teleporting red pandas right now. It's just something bugged out with making their habitats into blueprints, but they're teleporting through walls. I thought I fixed it, but no. They actually returned to teleporting, and I have no clue how to stop them. So I have magical red pandas. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I have special ones. Special red pandas. And I have Tark, who is either a flamingo or a red ruffed lemur. But if he's a red ruffed lemur, or she, then she's definitely a she. Because only female red ruffed lemurs went to this part of the... Well, it's not an island, it's basically just a landmass. And I basically wanted to do something with this, and now it's Tark's area. I mean, I think he already knew that, because... yeah, his favorite trees. His favorite pink trees. I'm using those as almond trees. I mean, they are lotus cherry or something, but I'm using them as almond trees, and I know that they are like a little bit out there, just because they are like, well, everything else when it comes to trees are green, and then I suddenly have to use pink trees, so Dark didn't say he hated them, but he severely disliked them, and as I said before, don't say that you dislike something, because then I'm just going to tie you so heavily to it that you won't be able to escape from it. Also, the first part of lighting in Kayan Al-Bashar, and this is where I went for the more mystical feel, so basically I just put all of those lights into the trees. Later on I will also use them in a different way, and now I'm just gonna say, Dark, you really love those trees because you are the one who put those lights up. At least storyline wise, or story wise. At least that's what I'm saying. So yeah, you turned around very quickly. Yeah, I just like those trees, and especially because they are like, well, they have very spread out branches, so putting on those lights is a little bit easier. Like, you can't really put those lights on a palm tree. First of all, those don't have branches, so I don't know why I made well, used palm trees, but yeah, I just really like to put those lights on the actual, well, I'm just going to call them almond trees because that's what they are here. I mean, Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster are not about like, oh, this is a piece, this is what you should use it for. It's just like, oh, this is a piece. Now you can find a trillion ways to make use of it. Sometimes you just make use of like the smallest bit of a piece. So, yeah, I'm just using those, I think, cherry lotus trees as almond trees. Because they also do flower like that. Not as heavily as that, but still. But now we are going to make Tark's home in Kayan Al-Bashar. So, yeah, you're basically set up amongst all your favorite trees. And it's going to be a tent, and as you can see, I basically juggled around with it because I don't like that. Well, I like how it looks when like the upper part or like the center of the tent is like intersecting, where like the fabrics are intersecting because they are static pieces. I really like that, but not for a tent, so I'm probably going to use something like that in another place, but not here. So this was just a little bit of a, alright, how can I make this work without it looking insane? I mean, it already is going to look insane, but yeah, this tent was basically just first built because I thought like, oh, I could, you know, make it look like there's like a work crew building on the ziggurat. Probably mispronouncing that still, but bear with me. I'm really trying to pronounce it right. But yeah, in the end it just sort of transformed into Tark's tent or camp. I think, yeah, I put actually a sign up saying this is Tark's camp, or at least just Tark's camp, just because, well, it's just among his favorite trees. Also, this is why this is where the mistake actually happened. I did the same thing as I did in Osaru with the elephant and rhino house. So, basically, the okapis can't get in here. They actually can't even get on this landmass. I tried removing rocks. I tried making the tent opener, not bigger, but just open it up a little bit more. But no, they don't go here. They do run past it quite a few times, but that's basically the reason why, Tark, you're now transformed into either a flamingo or a red-ruffed lemur. No, not a ring-tailed lemur, because those didn't go here. At least not so far. So yeah, you change species. I still really love this just sort of tent, because I couldn't figure out how to fix like the upper part not being pointy, or like not being like completely covering. So in the end I just made it look like it was basically just hanging there, like it was suspended from the center pole or center support. And it was a long time of searching. Alright, what piece can I use as a top part? Using a lot of faces actually. But this is not the, well, build that I spent most time searching for stuff. Also, yes, Tark, you have a boat. Yeah. I hope you enjoy fishing. Well, actually there are no fish in Planet Zoo. So, I hope you just enjoy rowing. Actually, you don't even have Rose, so, or Rose, it has a name, but I forgot it, so I'm just going to call him Rose. So, I hope you enjoy floating, just endlessly floating there. But yeah, you have a home in Kayan Al-Bashar now, among your favorite trees. And okapis aren't able to get in your home, so you are a flamingo. I also forgot to put out put off the zoo and animal alerts, so you will see those. Yeah, I forgot a lot this episode. I forgot to record the cursor. I forgot to put off all those zoo alerts. And, well, I should probably talk again about what we're building, because, as I said, I wanted to go for the magical/mystical feel that I want with Kayan Al-Bashar, but I also want it a little bit realistic. So I'm making hot air balloons, which are basically going to be all the lights. So it was interesting to build and fun because I never built really anything like that. I mean, for so far that I know, I never really built anything that's just a normal piece that floats. Like I never built like an airship or something like that. Always it was a little bit more grounded in realism, so never really any floaters. But yeah, Kayan Al-Bashar, everything is already floating, so why not the lights? So yeah, it was just fun looking around for pieces to use. Because the balloon, because it's basically a floating hot air balloon actually, with a light suspended from it. I did not know how to make this work, because for a long time it's just a light hanging onto a ball. And as I said, I wanted to make it look like a hot air balloon, or just a balloon. So yeah, this was a long time of me searching for the right pieces. Going through everything from the basic pieces to other lights actually. So it was interesting. In the end, it is still a balloon. It wasn't really what I originally intended, but I actually like it better than what I originally intended. And now I just want to build more of those. Now I just want to let everything float. Can I make an animal float? I mean, they already do that, but I don't think they should. But yeah, I mean, let's just call back to the magical transporting or teleporting red pandas. Also, yes, finally some nighttime shots of Kayan Al-Bashar. And yeah, again, those floating lights, especially when you cluster them together and like change height, of course. Like you don't even have to rotate them. I actually forget to rotate them a lot. But yeah, I just really like the feel that they give off with all this just floatiness and those lights. I think every time you like make lights float, it just looks mystical and fairy tale like in of itself. Like even if the rest of your shoe is not supposed to like be magical slash mystical slash fairy tale, like if you have floating lights, it kind of just goes there. Also, yes, dark, you can't escape it. This is now your camp. So it's either a blessing because you're among the okapis, or a curse because you have to basically go back to your favorite trees every night. Actually, also every day. Like, for some reason, the flamingos just love to stay here. I mean, they also love to stay in the front left corner of the habitat, and after a while, they just disappeared from there. So maybe in some time, the flamingos won't go there. I mean, you could already see the first flamingo going there. So yeah, it's just more points towards Dark being a flamingo and not a lemur. So yeah, be ready for that. So anyway, back to actual buildings. So these are going to be the last ruins in the habitat. As I said, the next episode is just going to be a lot of plants. And these ruins are, well, I actually tackled the like, oh, this is a lower class, normal slash middle class residential building. It's probably not going to have thick walls. So I needed to basically find a way to make the walls look ruined without making them a meter wide. Because I think so far the other walls are like 1 meter, or at least, yeah, at least half a meter wide. Which I don't think many walls back then would have been. So now I'm just, well, actually those, what were they called? The stucco wall pieces that are non-grid based. Yeah, they have been used a lot. I mean, the entire ziggurat is completely built out of them. I'm still worried that the auto-translate thing from YouTube is going to pick up ziggurat. So I'm really heavily pronouncing the U part. Ziggurat. I I think I will be very happy when we are finished with the habitat, just because then I don't get in trouble for mispronouncing ziggurat. Like, it's still like so difficult just because I've got completely stuck with the way I said it, and then to find out that Google that YouTube picks it up as cigarette. It was a weird and very hilarious day when I actually checked that. And yeah, back to the ruins. So it's a little bit more of an intact ruin because it actually has a window, but that's also the only thing it has. Like, the complete second story is gone. It does have a little bit of a canopy though, but that's also destroyed. It's a very thin canopy. It's also very destroyed. It's still really weird that everything just floats into the screen just because I forgot to put on cursor recording. I'm also thinking about like what I'm going to do for the special anniversary episode, which again, I might have talked about this before, but again, I have the mind of a goldfish, so halfway through recording the commentaries I usually forgot what I talked about in the first 10 minutes. But yeah, the anniversary episode is not going to be on the actual anniversary of the channel, because the anniversary is the 2nd of December, if I'm correct. And the 2nd of December is a Monday. I never upload on Monday, so it's going to be the 4th of December when I actually make the anniversary episode. So 2 days after the actual anniversary, we will have the anniversary video. I wanted to say upload, but well, that is also true in a way. But yeah, it's going to be a fun episode. I'm going to do something small in between. Something with a shell. Maybe. Or something snowy. I think both people will... I basically alluded with snowy and shell. Well, you guys have to fight for it. No. I think it will be the shell that I'm going to build for a small little thing in between. Because as I said, the habitat or the flooded ziggurat habitat is probably going to be finished in the next video, and well, I'm going to try and see if I can upload 3 times this week, so including this one, well, excluding this one actually. So just 3 uploads this week, maybe. But if that happens, I do need to make like a small episode in between before we get to the actual anniversary episode. That doesn't mean that one small in-between episode is any less important. Well, it's maybe even more important because then it's going to be blueprintable. I mean, this habitat is nuts. I think by now this habitat is 20k pieces. Yeah. Luckily I upgraded my PC. Otherwise this would not have been playable. Well, it would have been, but I would get annoyed real fast. And yeah, back to probably what we're building. So yeah, one of these houses does have like the thick walls that I basically use for the ruins. The other one doesn't, but I just like the variety that it now has. Also, this is just really to show like, oh, this is the end of the ruined part. Because historically accurate, it is... Well, that was a wrong sentence. It is actually historically accurate that there are not more ruins in this habitat, because as I said in the previous episodes so far, the ziggurat was completely enclosed by walls. So in those walls, or in that walled section, there was not much else of note beyond the ziggurat itself. So all of these buildings are actually a little bit outside of the walls. Well, except for the Persian ruins, but those Persian ruins are something. They are just special. I mean, just like my special teleporting red pandas. Why do I always... My mind always goes to transporting instead of teleporting. But yeah, there's a little bit of lighting also in these ruins, but this was before the actual patch came out and which basically just negated the need for electricity, which I'm just still very happy with because I didn't want to hide all those generators and such. Because that would have been very annoying if I needed to do that. Because, well, I don't really care about the gas at all. But, yeah, just not a very nice thing to look at. And I always build everything just so it looks nice. Like, it doesn't have to be functional at all. I mean, most of the buildings in this habitat aren't functional. I mean, I was surprised when the cigarettes was actually functional and not just there to be pretty. But, yeah, everything is just built to be nice. And generators and the water cleaner thingies just mess up that view. So, yeah, the boat's a little bit more pushed out than you saw before. Just so that he's, well, Dark is actually on the lake and not just in, well, it's a little bit more of a swamp area there. But, yeah. I don't know what you're doing there, Dark, because there are no fishes anywhere. But, well, maybe your boat just drifted off. It's just, I just really love what I've built. Well, I love those pink trees because I use them as almond trees, even though Dark really hates them. Well, he dislikes them. Which I understand because like the rest of Kayan Al-Bashar is kind of cohesive, and then you suddenly have those pink trees. Like those pink trees just blow out of everything. So I understand where he's coming from, but it's not going to stop me. And yeah, he's probably not going to say that he dislikes them anymore, just because he doesn't want to see more of them, probably. But before anyone takes it serious, I'm just having fun. Like, I don't have anything against Dark. I don't have anything against, well, anyone who says like, oh, I dislike this part. It's just fun to play around with that. And I think that's just the most important thing when you're building. Just have fun. And also, yes, I built another massive pink tree. Because, well, it's one of the trees that look nice when you have them on like the edge of a cliff. Or here, a rock. And yeah, it's going to be the biggest almond tree that I have placed so far. So Dark is going to be very happy because that's his view every morning. He has all the pink trees surrounding him and then a pink tree in the distance, which is huge and also is lighted up, which again, storytelling wise, I just attribute to Dark himself. So now you can't dislike them anymore. I mean, you can still decide, do you want to be a flamingo, which is also pink, or a red-ruffed lemur? But then, well, again, I never asked if Dark was female or male or actually anything. So, well, let's just say if you're a red-ruffed lemur, none of the male red-ruffed lemurs have visited your camp. So you're either a pink flamingo or a female red-ruffed lemur. Yeah, I'm going way too far with this. So let's just stop it there. We are nearing the end of the video, so in front of the ruins, quickly to mention why it's so lush there. It's again another of those floating rocks that fell to the ground. Because those floating rocks are very lush and somehow filled with water. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye bye.